a video on my Arts Ed audition in 2018 and everything you want to expect from the day. You get there was around 100 of us there, there's a lot of people there, and they split you into girls and boys. You register and they give you a number badge that you have to wear all day, and they put you into a tiny changing room to get changed. So I'd say if you can, again, do the leotard dress thing. Means that you're ready for whatever they want you to do first. Makeup, natural-ish look, not like full face again. So we did a singing warm-up all together, 10-15 minute warm-up. So this was just all girls. I think the boys is the same thing, they just split you boys and girls. So for me, I did the dance call first. They put us in number order for all of the exercises, so depending on what your number was, determined your place for the dance call. There is one woman marking and scoring at the front, and then another woman taking the class who walks around the room. The exercises that we did were quite random timings and rhythms. I just say focus when they're doing the exercises. Don't worry if you get it wrong, but just try and keep up as much as you can because they were quite strange. This is quite important. I'd say listen and apply all of the things that they say. So they have quite specific things, like when you're doing kicks and things, they don't want your arms, I can't do it in this room, they don't want your arms like straight out like this. They wanted them slightly forward at an angle. And they mentioned that a couple of times, but I think that's just something that they always do. So if you can listen and apply their instruction, that's really good. Also, like we did jazz turns, but they wanted pirouette arms for your jazz turns. And she picked me up on that a couple of times. Obviously, like if you've been doing turns, you're used to doing turns and your arms, however you do your turns. Everyone's different, like depending on what teacher you have, but what was that? No one does a jazz turn like that again. But yeah, so they wanted pirouette arms. Ooh, hands are massive. They wanted pirouette arms for your jazz turns. They wanted you to wear the typical leotard and black footless tights over the top. They weren't bothered about shoes, and I asked a girl I know who goes there and she said honestly they're not bothered about shoes, so just whatever you're comfortable in. Don't forget to smile and just look like you know what you're doing, even if you don't. Quite a lot of the exercises I was sort of like, oh my gosh, am I doing this right or not? But just keep going through it and it'll be fine. They just want to see that you're trying, and if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter, you just carry on. The routine for my year was a jazz routine. They were very focused again on telling a story through the movement. They taught it rather quickly and they did swap the lines when we were learning it, and it was basically as soon as we'd learned all the moves, they said, okay, let's go. And it was in groups of 3 or 4, I think. And I was like right at the beginning and we'd literally just learned it and it went awfully. Like honestly, I can't tell you how badly it went. Like we literally just learnt it and I have to do something at least 4 times in my head before I can do it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone performs it in groups of 4 and then they asked some people to do it again at the end and they gave you a specific note. So I'd noticed from my first year auditioning that some of these people who they'd asked to do it again had got a recall. Some of them hadn't, so I don't think it's anything in particular, but she did ask me to do it again and I was like, oh, thank goodness, because then I'd had the chance to watch everyone else do it and it was way more in my head and I actually knew the routine at that point just from watching it a couple of times. But she said to me, we want to see you. She said, so think of your story, not just a random story, like we want you to be telling a story through the movement, but think of your story, not just a random one. So that made a lot of sense to me. Obviously it's a musical theatre course and you're going to be playing characters the whole time, but in an audition they also want to see you and your personality, so that really made sense to me for them to say, no, just do it as you would dance this dance. I don't know if that all makes sense in your audition situation, but it really did for me. So as well as being a character, I think you also have to show them you as well, because you don't get a lot of opportunity to do that. Then we went to our singing call. I think they did give us time to get changed, but again I just like put my dress on over the top of my leotard. So they say to you prepare a minute of a contemporary song and a minute of a legit song. Both years I auditioned, they asked for your legit song. They just wanted to hear that. They didn't want to hear your contemporary one. Obviously you need it if you get a recall, but for your first round it's your legit song. Make sure you figured out your minute before you go in and before you've got there and you've practiced just doing the minute. Also make sure you've practiced the whole song because they can ask to hear more, but they just wanted to hear a minute of your legit song. On the panel there was just the pianist and then another guy marking. He was a lot of the time writing stuff down, so I just say don't be put off by that. And don't focus on all the things that went wrong for you. Focus on the things that went well. They're looking for trainability and if they're going to be able to train you and how much training you've already had, and they can tell that by just when you sing the song. So I just say, yeah, chill out a bit. They don't like it if you change the key of songs. Do it in the original key. If you've watched my previous video, which one did I talk about it in? I think I talked about it in like performing songs or something. My horrific first year Arts Ed story where he asked me to sing it an octave higher than I was singing it. So don't change the key, I'd say. You can do the original key, do the original key. Legit songs are supposed to be high. So you just sing a minute of your legit song and then that's it for the Arts Ed first round audition. So then you go back upstairs and they have everyone in a room and they just say, okay, these are the people we're recalling. In my year they recalled 10 people. So out of the 100 that were there, they recalled 10. It was 6 girls and 4 boys. 4 of the girls who got recalled were actually, they were all on the GSA foundation course together. So I was like, oh my gosh. Obviously my first year I didn't get a recall, so if you don't get a recall, that's it. They just ask you on your way out to give them back your badge and then they give you a letter that just explains that you haven't got in. Really don't be disheartened about this one. Like, I think they see so many people, there's so many incredible people. I honestly didn't think my song went that well, but I got a recall, so I just say, yeah, don't really beat yourself up about it. And even if you think it went really well, you still don't know what's going to happen. So take it as it comes. It was a really fun audition. The dance, especially both years I auditioned at Arts Ed, I love the dance. They're very calm. Like, in a sort of way where you're like, are they being strict or are they just really calm? But don't let that put you off. I think that's just like the attitude that they have. Don't be disheartened if you don't get in. Try again the next year because look what happened to me. And just go and enjoy it. Honestly, the first year I did my Arts Ed audition, I was so nervous. And then the second year I did it, I was honestly like, right, well, I'm not even going to get a recall because I didn't last year, so why would I this year? There's 100 people there and 10 people get a recall, so what are the chances that I'm going to get one? My legit is not my strongest, and I was like, that's the only thing that they're seeing me sing, so I honestly didn't expect it at all, and that just made me so much more chilled. And then obviously I did really well. So it can work both ways. If you're so chilled, I'm not saying be so chilled that like you literally don't care, but I was so chilled that I was like, okay, literally just go and give it your all at this audition, but be chilled about it, because even if you get in, I was like, well, I can't really afford it, so. So yeah, that is everything on your Arts Ed first round. Please join me for the second round of the recall day. That will be popping up somewhere soon. But yeah, good luck at Arts Ed, it's really fun. I don't know how to explain this. Right, Hey! Oh. Arts Ed audition, Arts Ed.